Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to start breaking down the college football bowl schedule. So this will be in two, maybe three segments, probably two. Um, but I'm recording the first one right now, so we'll see if we get to a third one. All right. So we're going to be doing games from December 16th to December 26th. And let's get started. So we start on December 16th. We start off with the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So the Myrtle Beach Bowl is the Georgia Southern Eagles versus the Ohio Bobcats. So this is kind of how I did it. I broke down who I thought had better offense, defense, pass and run, um, and kind of some notes about them, when the game is, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll run through this real quick. Uh, Pass offense, I think Georgia Southern has the edge. Um, they can throw the ball uh, pretty well, actually. So I think that they have a leg up there. All the other categories, rush offense, pass defense, rush defense, and special teams, I give the edge to the Bobcats from Ohio. Um, so we'll see this over and over again. The Sun Belt had 12 bowl eligible teams, and the entire East was 6 and 6 or better. Um, so a lot of teams, a lot of mid teams made the college bowl season that were not good football teams. So we'll see a lot of those games in this early slate. Um, when we get into next week's, then we'll have better teams that are facing off. Um, so the Sun Belt had 12 bowl eligible teams, like I said, um, and Georgia Southern was in that Sun Belt East. Ohio won the Mid American Conference by a score of 25-14, so they're conference champions. Georgia Southern went 6 and 6. Ohio went 9 and 3. So Georgia Southern went 6 and 6 in the Sun Belt. Ohio went 9 and 3 in the MAC. This game will be held Saturday, December 16th at 11 a.m. Eastern at Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. And again, I give the edge heavily to the Bobcats. I think the Bobcats run away with this one. Jacksonville State Gamecocks versus the Louisiana Raging Cajuns for the RL Carrier New Orleans Bowl. This was a little bit more of an interesting matchup than the previous. Again, this is a Sun Belt East team in Louisiana, and yeah, I don't know. Another mid school in that conference. Um, so Louisiana, in my opinion, uh, has the pass offense game. Jackson State has the rush offense and pass defense. Louisiana has rush defense and special teams. And the winner of this game, I think, is an easy Louisiana victory. Um, I think Jacksonville State's going to make it interesting, but I think that once you get into talent and differences in talent, I think Louisiana will pull away. So again, another Sun Belt team. Jacksonville State lost a ton when Dion departed, including their 5-star quarterback. But his class is still there in part, so there's still some talent at Jacksonville State. But that will go away unless they can get somebody in the position to make a run at it after he's gone. So Jacksonville State went 8-4 this year, and Louisiana went 6-6 in the regular season. This game will be held Saturday, December 16th at 2:15 Eastern in Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. So Louisiana is also a home team, so that gives them the edge, in my opinion. Avocados from Mexico, Cure Bowl, pins the App State or Appalachian State Mountaineers against the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. So I think this is the first game that the Sun Belt Conference will win in the bowl season. They lost to number 17 University of North Carolina by only 6, so they can hang with the big dogs. Um, and Miami, when they played a Power 5 school, lost by 35 to the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. So they're not as good against big schools, but here's how it stacks up. Offense, I give the edge to App State. Defense, I give to Miami. Special teams, I think it's probably the most even one that we have, and I give a slight edge. I'm talking a very close game to App State. Um, App State knows how to play in big games. They upset Michigan a couple years back. They've upset other ranked teams. Um, they know how to play big games, so um, they they should be ready to go. The season App State went 8-5 in the Sun Belt. Miami of Ohio went 11-2 in the MAC. This game will be held Saturday, December 16th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern at FBC Mortgage Stadium in sunny Orlando, Florida. So neither one really has a home field in this one. It is a neutral site, and I think App State just barely squeaks this one out. Then we go to Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Uh, we do have a home team advantage with the New Mexico State Aggies, and Fresno State Bulldogs are not far away either. Conference USA is better, uh, and New Mexico State can run the ball and play defense. I think they win very easily, and Fresno State has always been impressive throwing the ball all over the field. I think they'll run into a problem with the defense, though, of New Mexico State. Pass offense, I give the edge to Fresno State because they can sling it everywhere. Rush offense is a huge edge to New Mexico State. Pass defense is Fresno State. Rush defense and special teams go to New Mexico State. And I think the winner is New Mexico State. New Mexico State was 10-4 in Conference USA, and Fresno State was 8-4. Like I said, this is a veritable home game for New Mexico State. Saturday, December 16th at 5:45 Eastern at University Stadium in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. All right, so moving on. This is my first Meaties must-watch of the bowl season, and this is the Starco Brands LA Bowl. So this pins the Pac-12's UCLA Bruins against the Mountain West Boise State Broncos. Um, I have a slight love interest with the Boise State Broncos. I love the blue field. It's so cool still to this day. Um, and as I said, this is a meaty must watch. Boise State won the Mountain West. Still love the blue field. UCLA was a mid-tier team in a top-heavy Pac-12. The Pac-12, which is now gone. So, because it's dissolved into various other leagues. But the pass offenses are very, very close between the two. Yards, points. Of course, the competition is a little bit different, but they seem to be pretty close. Rush offense, I give the edge to Boise State, just a slight edge. Pass defense, I give a slight edge to UCLA. They seem to have a little bit more talent on the back end. The rush defense, Boise State knows how to stop the run. I give them a slight edge there. Special teams, I think it's even. And the winner of this game, I predict, will be the Boise State Broncos. Again, little bit of bias there, little teeny tiny bit, but I still think bias aside, Boise State pulls it out. Boise State went 8-5 in the Mountain West, and UCLA went 7-5 in the Pac-12. This game will be held Saturday, December 16th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and it will be at the Los Angeles Chargers Stadium, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, the newest, biggest, brightest, and most beautiful stadium. So it has all the makings of a big matchup, and I suggest that you watch. Moving on to the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, the disappointing Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Cal Golden Bears. Texas Tech played close in the Big 12 and finished middle of the pack. Um, they didn't lose any by a ton. They didn't win any by a ton. They were just kind of average in the Big 12. And I think where it comes down, if you take the entirety of the Big 12 and stack it up against the entirety of the Pac-12, I think the Pac-12 is much more top-heavy, and towards the middle and the bottom, the Big 12 has the edge. But the Big 12 has they both have a team. The Big 12 has the Texas Longhorns, and the Pac-12 sent the Washington Huskies to the college football playoff, so they're both pretty good conferences. Uh, Cal got blown out week in and week out, though, in the Pac-12 against good teams. So let's break it down. Both of them are pretty bad. Texas Tech, I give the pass offense, rush offense, and pass defense. I give the edge to Cal. Rush defense and special teams, I give to Texas Tech. And the winner of a disappointing bad football game, I give to Texas Tech Red Raiders. Both teams, Texas Tech and Cal, went 6-6 in their respective conference this year. And this game will be Saturday, December 16th at 9:15 p.m. Eastern at Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana. Again, watch the game before it. It's going to be better. So that takes us all the way through the December 16th slate. Now we get to the December 18th games. Nothing on the 17th. The famous Toastery Bowl. Weird name, but anyways. Old Dominion Monarchs versus the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky is always an air raid offense. Like they're impressive throwing the football. And they finished fourth in Conference USA, which I think is a superior conference to Old Dominion, who is again in the middle of the pack of the Sun Belt, and really did nothing magnificent all year. None of the games were raised an eyebrow either way. Pass offense, I go to Western Kentucky, hands down. That's going to be a huge advantage. Rush offense is slight in Old Dominion's favor. Defense is slight in OD's favor. Special teams, Western Kentucky has a good kick returner. And the winner of this game will be the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, probably by a pretty big margin. Old Dominion went 6-6 in the Sun Belt. Western Kentucky went 7-5 in Conference USA. This game will be held Saturday, December 18th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern at Jerry Richards Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. And just one game on December 18th wraps up the December 18th slate. December 19th, the next day. We start off with Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. And we have the UTSA Roadrunners at University of Texas at San Antonio and the Marshall Thundering Herd. UTSA lost in the American Conference Championship. They have been a decent team, played some teams close, looked good in some games, and didn't get blown out. Marshall is the epitome of mid. Like, they are another middle of the pack Sun Belt bid team. Um, Sun Belt has way too many teams in, but that's how our system works. Uh, Marshall went 6-6 in the Sun Belt. UTSA went 8-4 in the American, and I think this is our first, like, major blowout. As you see, UTSA sweeps the board in pass rush offense, pass rush defense, special teams, and I think UTSA wins easily by double digits, probably in the neighborhood of the 20s and 30s point win. I think this one's gonna be over before it begins. Saturday, December 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. That takes us to the 19th. No games on the 20th. December 21st. We have the Roof.com Boca Raton Bowl, which pins the South Florida Bulls against the Syracuse Orange. USF is still salty over their supposed natty. They seem to be playing with a chip for a very long time, and I think they upset the Orange. I don't know if it's a true upset, but it seems like an upset. Um, Syracuse is at the bottom of a really poor ACC conference this year. The ACC did not even get their undefeated conference champion into the playoff. As we all know, Florida State got left out. Syracuse went 6-6. USF went 6-6. So similar records. Um, Pass offense, I give to USF. Rush offense, they were dead even. Dead even. Um, and then I give USF the rest of the categories, including the win. I think it'll come out and try and score style points in this game. This game is Saturday, December 21st at 8 p.m. at Florida Atlantic University Stadium in Boca Raton, Florida. And that's the end of the games on December 21st. December 22nd has some games. Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets against the UCF Knights. UCF came into the Big 12 and looked like they belonged. Will be a good program in years to come. University of Central Florida. They were kind of a mid-major school, and they've taken the jump to a Power 5 conference, and they didn't look bad this year. Nothing spectacular, but the best you can really expect from making a big jump like that and still holding your own in one of the nation's premier conferences. Uh, Georgia Tech played state rival Georgia tough, but they didn't do anything exceptional. And we all know that games against in-state rivals can sometimes be deceiving. Georgia Tech went 6-6. UCF went 6-6. I think UCF runs the board. I think they easily win this game. It could stay close, but I think UCF easily wins this game. I don't think it's ever in doubt. This game's going to be Saturday, December 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. That is the home stadium of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. December 23rd, the 76 Birmingham Bowl puts the Duke Blue Devils against the Troy Trojans. Troy finished first in the Sun Belt West. They played close games against like opponents as Duke. Also, I don't like Duke. I don't like Duke at all. I'm very biased because I don't like Duke as a Michigan State Spartan. What they do to us on the hardwood is not fair, and yes, I am whining about it. quarterback transferred Duke's quarterback transferred, and not much to show in a bad ACC. Um, yeah, I I don't know. So, pass offense, I give the edge to Troy. Pass defense, I give the edge to Troy. Rush defense, also to Troy. I give Duke the edge in rush offense and special teams, and I think Troy wins a close one. Um, this could be a fun one to watch, but there's not a lot of talent here, so it's gonna be kind of a dogfight fun to watch, not exciting fun to watch. So Troy went 11-2 in the everybody gets in Sun Belt, and Duke went 7-5 in the bad ACC. Saturday, December 23rd will be this kick at noon Eastern from Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. Next, we go to the Camellia Bowl, where the Arkansas State Red Wolves face off against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Arkansas State is yet another middle of the pack Sun Belt Conference team and lost 73 to nothing to the Oklahoma Sooners. They got embarrassed not only once, but they did get embarrassed pretty bad by Oklahoma. Uh, Northern Illinois has my former Spartan quarterback Rocky Lombardi and finished second in the MAC West, which again I think is a better conference than the Sun Belt, just personally. Both teams went 6-6. Arkansas State 6-6 in the Sun Belt. Northern Illinois 6-6 in the MAC. Pass offense, I give a slight edge to Arkansas State, but for rush offense, pass defense and rush defense, I give the edge heavily towards Northern Illinois. Special teams, slight edge Northern Illinois, and I think that this one will also be within 2 scores. Close final score, but I think it's never in doubt. I think Northern Illinois wins this game. So this game will be held Saturday, December 23rd at noon Eastern at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. Only second meeting must watch, and again, some personal bias here, but I'll admit it. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl pins the Air Force Falcons against the James Madison Dukes. James Madison won the Sun Belt Conference, which I now hate because I've had to say Sun Belt a dozen times, with its only loss to App State. Air Force was a surprise, but dropped the last 4. They're on a 4-game losing streak after winning the first 8. Both teams were ranked in the top 25 during the season, so that's an interesting thing as well. Pass offense, I give to James Madison. Rush offense, I give to Air Force. Pass defense goes to Air Force. Rush defense to James Madison. They are so even on special teams, and the winner is the United States Air Force. Go get 'em, boys. Air Force went 8-4, and James Madison went 11-1, but again in the Sun Belt Conference. This game will be held Saturday, December 23rd at 3:30 p.m. Eastern at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl pins the Georgia State Panthers against the Utah State Aggies. Georgia State, yet another mid Sun Belt team. They lost by 42 to LSU. Utah State played a lot of close games. One was with number 25 Iowa, and I believe they only lost by 10. And they played decent in a tougher conference in the Mountain West. Uh, this one's over before it begins. Utah State rolls, and you can see I gave every category pass defense, rush defense, and special teams to Utah State, and it was easy to pick this one. Utah State wins this game easy. Utah State, again, 6-6 in the Mountain West. Georgia State was 6-6 in the Sun Belt. This game will take place on Saturday, December 23rd at 3:30 Eastern at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. 68 Ventures Bowl. The South Alabama Jaguars against the Eastern Michigan Eagles. The Fighting Emus, pride of Ypsi, do nothing well and are an anomaly that they actually made it to be bowl eligible. They've been bad historically. They've had better seasons as of late, but they're just a poor team. They have a nice stadium, Rynerson, but yeah, they leave something to be desired. Uh, South Alabama has done better against similar competition, another Sun Belt Conference team. They both lost to um, Central Michigan University, and EMU lost by, I think, 10, and I think South Alabama lost by 4. Eastern Michigan went 6-6 in the MAC. South Alabama went 6-6 in the Sun Belt. Again, I think the MAC's a better conference, but I don't know how Eastern got here. So, uh, Saturday, December 23rd at 7 p.m. is this matchup Eastern time at Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. Now we're starting to get into decent teams. Finally. I mean, not exclusively. That will probably be the next go round. But the SRS Distribution Bowl pins the Northwestern Wildcats against the Utah. Utah only lost the top 25 ranked opponents all year. All 4 of their losses were to top 25 ranked opponents. Northwestern is boring and underwhelming, as they are every year. They're just not fun to watch. So Northwestern went 7-5 in the Big Ten. Utah went 8-4 in the Pac-12. I think this year probably the Pac-12 is a better conference, but they'll be joining the Big Ten soon. This game is all Utah. Pass rush offense, pass rush defense goes to Utah. Special teams easily goes to Utah. And the winner is Utah. And this one could be out of hand very early. I could see Utah hanging 49, 56, 70 points on Northwestern. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. This game takes place on Saturday, December 23rd at 7:30 Eastern from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, which I think is a mean chicken based on their logo, against the San Jose Spartans. San Jose can run the ball and either win or get blown out. They seem to either win big or just get completely annihilated. They were tied for first in the Mountain West. Coastal Carolina was another mid team in the Sun Belt. They didn't beat anybody. Everything was kind of it. I don't know. Pass offense goes slight edge to Coastal Carolina. Rush offense goes to San Jose. Pass defense to San Jose. Rush defense goes to Coastal Carolina. Special teams easily goes to San Jose. And the winner, I think, in a close game is San Jose. I'm not going to be watching this game. I suggest you don't either. This is going to be a snooze fest. San Jose State 7-5 in the Mountain West, and Coastal Carolina with 7-5 in the Sun Belt. This game will take place on Saturday, December 23rd at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time at the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's the only reason why I'd wanna go to this bowl is because 'cause you'd get to go to Hawaii. And now we go on to the December 26th games. Another game you don't wanna watch, the Quick Lane Bowl pins the Bowling Green Falcons against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Uh, Minnesota looked bad against everybody, not just the Big Ten. Um, Bowling Green was one of the better MAC teams, but again, mid-major MAC team. Uh, this game will be bad. Do not watch. If you watch it, it's on your own accord, and I have nothing to do with it. Bowling Green went 7-5 in the MAC. Minnesota went 5-7 in the Big Ten. Uh, so those of you new to college football, you have to be invited unless you go 6-6 or better. Um, so that's kind of how it works. If you're above 500 or 500, uh, you generally get to go to a bowl game. Minnesota is one of those rare exceptions where the Quick Lane Bowl likes to have a MAC team against a Big Ten team. So they went out and got Minnesota, who has a sub 500 record. If I was Row the Boat Man over in Minnesota, I would say, we're good. We'll stay home. Uh, this game will take place Saturday, December 26th at 2 p.m. Eastern at the Great Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. I live here. I'm not going. This one has me interested. The Serpro First Responders Bowl between the Texas State Bobcats and the Rice Owls. This was almost a meaty must watch. Almost. Almost. So I'm gonna be honest, I watched a little bit on Texas State and a little bit on Rice, but I previously knew nothing about either team. So Texas State, another Sun Belt team, had some impressive wins against Baylor and Jackson State. Rice was in the middle of the American, but beat Houston, the Houston Cougars, by 2. So there's intrigue here, and I think this has the opportunity to be a decent game, but also could be a snooze fest. So offense, I give it to Texas State. Rice gets the edge on defense. Special teams not goes to Texas State, and I think the winner is Texas State. Barely, very barely. I could see this one coming down to the end and being something that could be an enjoyable game. So, Texas State went 7-5 in the Sun Belt. Rice went 6-6 in the American. Saturday, December 26th is this matchup at 5:30 p.m. Eastern at Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas, Texas. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl pins the Kansas Jayhawks against UNLV Rebels. UNLV is University of Nevada, Las Vegas. UNLV finished first in the Mountain West with big losses to Michigan, Boise State, and San Jose State. Kansas played in a decent Big 12 and finished middle of the pack with the only big loss, so plus 10 points loss to Texas, who's in the college football playoff. Um, shit, I didn't. I forgot to change that. So forget that that's there. Kansas went 8-4 in the Big 12, and I gotta look because there's an error there. So give me one moment. And oh yeah, I just didn't change it. So uh, UNLV went 9-4 in the Mountain West. Um, so as we see, Kansas wins offensive, pass and rush defense, and the special teams. Kansas wins this game easy. This one could get nasty. This one could get really nasty. Um, I have Kansas big. Kansas is an improved team in the Big 12 recently, and I think they win this game very easily. So this one is Saturday, December 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is for college football bowl matchups for the first week and a half. Um, please keep your eyes out. As soon as I get it done, I will post the next video, which will go into matchups from December 27th all the way through to the college football playoff. So, uh, we start getting more of the games with ranked teams starting to come up. We have not had a ranked team yet, but I look forward to it. So there are 2 meaty must-watches, and I encourage everybody to enjoy your college football bowl season. Until next time, have a good day, everybody.